You're not being forced to take it. What's happening is that a parasitic, 8th sphere possessed elite group has hijacked society. They communicate with beings from the 8th sphere, from the abyss. And they get directions just like you would get directions by talking to your spirit guide about what job to take or about how to improve your life or what plants to plant in your garden or whatever it is. These people get advice from satanic beings on how to carry out the goals of the 8th sphere, on how to harvest humanity. There are people that regularly communicate with the 8th sphere, with Ahriman, with Lucifer, that worship them. And they have been given directions on how to bring the 8th sphere very, very, very close to the earth through technologies and through modifying the human body. Through modifying the earth through increased electromagnetic energy, continually exposing the earth more and more and more to certain electric frequencies, so that the earth's aura is no longer even really the earth's aura, like it's not emitting the original energy that it should, to the point that it creates a substrate, a false ether on the planet. This is what's going, this is the electrification of the earth. The book, The Invisible Rainbow, talks about this. And the anthroposophical doctor, Thomas Cowan, talks about this. I have this on my Facebook page. I have a video that describes this. This is going to create a false ether, a synthetic ether that the 8th sphere can then attach to or be pulled into. And it can allow for the incarnation of Ahriman, and it can allow for these beings to come very, very close to the earth and certain interdimensionals. Yes, aliens and interdimensionals that are trapped within that 8th sphere paradigm, allow them to come very close to the earth through modifying the earth's bioenergetic field. And they will also seek to modify human beings' bioenergetic field by changing how human beings run. Enter a jab that basically alters your genetics, which they refuse to admit it does. And why would they admit to that? I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to mince words. We don't have time. We have to understand what's going on. We have to understand what's going on with the Earth's field changing through this electrification of the Earth and a lot of short aggressive frequencies that are being creating this sphere around the Earth. And we have to understand that the human being must become synthetic. The human being must become synthetic, just like the 8th sphere itself, through transhumanism and possibly through genetic modification to the point that they resonate with the false sphere that's forming around the earth. So, the last part of this question is, if you get this jab, does that mean you're just automatically going to be sucked into the 8th sphere? I wouldn't say so. I don't think so. I know certain people take that position. But I think that there's booster shots for a reason. I think that they have booster shots because I think it takes a while for, we are all observing what is happening with the world right now. And this jab, we're all observing, including me. So I can only make some guesses here. And right now I'm talking about the jab in regards to Ahriman and in regards to the 8th sphere. And right now we're just playing with ideas. I'm not saying that this is exactly what's going on. We're just playing with these ideas because these ideas were given to us by mystics as warnings. And I'm just playing with these ideas, okay? I want to be very clear about that. I need to observe what's going on in the longer term before I can say anything solidly. So there is an element to this that I am observing, that we are all observing. But we need to be able to play with this like this. We need to be able to say, what if this is something terribly malevolent? What is wrong with that? What's wrong with saying, what if the crew that are doing this is influenced by the hate sphere? What if this is an incredibly malevolent assault on humanity? Why can we not ask that? We should ask that. We should go to the bottom of the barrel with this. Why not? So let's do that. Let's go to the darkest corner of this potential. So I personally would say, because so much of the narrative is that you need booster shots, I would say that the transformation will probably need several of these things, but it's also clear that many people are severely injured from it, and some people have not been so lucky. So I think it really depends on the individual. I don't believe in true coercion. I'm sorry. If somebody tells you to take an experimental medical procedure, you can say no. We are not, at least in America, at the point where they're forcing it in. So if you have an opportunity to say no, even if it means losing something, losing a job or a relationship or whatever that is, it may be the hardest decision that you make, but you can make a decision. You're not forced to do it. All that's happening is you're being forced to say, is this job worth this? Or is this situation that you're feeling manipulated by worth it? Is it worth it? That's the real question. You're not being forced to take it. What's happening is that a parasitic, eighth sphere possessed elite group has hijacked society, a societal structure that they themselves did not even build. They didn't build Western civilization or the Earth civilization. They hijacked it, inserted themselves in an important place, hired lackeys, and have hijacked it. And they're going to invert it for a while, and they're going to hold it hostage against us. And they're going to say, you don't get to participate in society unless you do this thing that we want. Well, are you going to let them hold your job hostage? Are you going to let them hold your life hostage and hold this world hostage against you? Is community that important to you? Is it that important to you? That's your decision. But it is your decision, and we have to see it that way. Yes, this group will hold the world as we know it against us for a certain amount of time. Yes, they will invert it, but not forever. Yes, they have infiltrated the systems and what we are comfortable in and what we turn to, our routine. They're taking the routine away from us. They're making things inconvenient, yes, because they've infiltrated it, and they're inverting it, and they're holding it hostage against us until we get this thing that they want us to get. This is sick. This is what a parasitic leadership does. They're not respecting your sovereignty. But as a sovereign being, you better know you have a choice, even if it's the most difficult choice you will make. Is the jab something that will force us into the eighth sphere if we are forced or coerced to take it? I don't think that necessarily one inoculation will do that. Certainly some people have had horrible reactions. I think that the eighth sphere is much more complicated than that, and it depends on your relationship with your soul and Christ consciousness up until this point, all the lives that you've lived in the past. And the idea is that we have to have the right perception, and we have to start seeing the world for what it really is. We have to start seeing the timelines ahead of us for what they really are. So it's not as immediate as that. But really when it comes to the eighth sphere and those agendas, it's not a one life thing. So it's not like whatever you do in this life is going to determine it. It's literally a buildup of all of your lives until Judgment Day, until this point in time. And so that's what I would say there.